I think that it's time to get along and go along. And because the last thing we would want is to see me on a watch list of the Homeland Security or the FBI or the CIA. I want them to understand that I'm a team player, that I'm not a loose cannon, that I'll get along and I'll go along. And so, as I say, whatever the government wants of me, I'm willing to do. And I'm even willing to go so far as to myself offer several initiatives, and one of them would be this. Although over the years I've called for stronger borders and the deportation of illegal aliens, I think today I'm going to call for the relocation of all white people who have lived here for more than 50 years in order to give the newcomers from the South a chance, just for the sake of fairness and balance. We should force all whites over the age of 50 to leave the country, perhaps with their possessions, perhaps not, in order to give all of these newcomers from the South a chance, the newcomers who have put all the Democrats in power and have kept them there for these last 20 years. You see what I mean? It's time for them to appreciate the beauties of America, and it's time for those who've enjoyed this fair nation to move on. Time to pack up your kit bag and move along. Now it's time for the callers on the Savage Nation, 1-800-449-8255. Michael Savage, a newspaper that's losing $1.5 million a week, $1 million a week. It's not their money. They certainly won't change their policies. They'd rather be out of business collecting crazy checks in the cafes of San Francisco than ever recognize the fact that they drove their newspaper to bankruptcy. So there's an article about bed bugs in San Francisco. Apparently there's a bed bug epidemic in the city, and it's not just limited to single-room occupancy hotels anymore. Oh, no, it's in various neighborhoods now. It's way out of the cheap, poor neighborhoods. The bed bugs have proliferated throughout San Francisco, but there's no mention of where they came from. It's as though the bed bugs were created by spontaneous creation. You've heard of spontaneous emission, and of course you've heard of spontaneous combustion, but you've not heard of spontaneous creation yet. But according to the liberal, bed bugs may have been created by spontaneous creation, created simply out of the air in order to make immigrants look bad. There's a lot of news, there's no news. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. You know, we could talk about news, we could talk not about the news, we could talk about Chinese food, Italian food, I'd say Irish food, but there is none. I'm joking, don't get mad. I've been in enough Irish bars to tell you that they're not known for that, okay? Let's not get angry now all of a sudden. Don't bring up anger now. Start telling me dishes with lamb, okay? Chicago, Tom, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Yeah, Michael, I wanted to know what health benefits, if any, are provided by the squid ink and squid ink pasta.
I give you the philosophy of 1,000 years of evolution. Don't seek excitement, seek fulfillment. I get a question about squid ink. All right, that's the nature of the business I'm in. Wait, I will refer to the Bible, Deuteronomy 27:12. If a caller asketh thou about squiddeth ink after thou hast given thy heart and thy mind, tell him to shove it! I know, you don't actually find that in Deuteronomy. You will not actually find it. I don't think they deal with squid. I think it's one of the banned foods. Thou shalt not suffer a sorceress to live. I don't want to go into that. There's too many people in San Francisco. Everything that thou shalt not do, they do. And in Enumclaw, Washington, don't even ask. Wow. In Enumclaw, they actually look at Exodus 22 and do everything they're told not to do. A sorceress, a beast. He that lieth with a beast. They love the beasts up in Enumclaw, Washington. In fact, they get them from rescue centers in order to lieth with them. It's horrible. An eye for an eye. You got to look those things up, an eye for an eye. Thou shalt not cover. I don't want to read the Bible. Leave me alone. I'm tired of religious now. I'm off religion. I think I'm giving up on the whole religious thing for a while. I am so jaundiced on religion and religious. I know you're going to be disappointed, but I'm not doing. I'm taking the whole summer off from it. I don't like fanaticism in any religion. I don't like it. We talked about radical Islam. How about radical everything else? You know, I know that the radical Christians don't kill and this and that today, but, you know, to me, the fanatics in religion worry me greatly. Just as the fanatics in government worry me greatly. I don't like fanaticism. So I'll say, well, you're a fanatic because you believe in borders, language, culture. All right, so you can define your enemy as a fanatic, whatever you want to say. I'm not into this whole religious thing. I think it's a racket. This organized religion bothers me. Sure, I believe in God. I'm going to give me the litmus test. First of all, it's my business whether I do or not, but I do. Why? Because I'm afraid that if I gamble wrongly, I'll be cast into you-know-where for eternity. So I have that basic, let us say, primal or childish view of the world. If you're braver than me and you don't care what happens to you after you die, all right, whatever. I was raised another way, and that's the end of the story. That's how I shall be. I'm pretty sure there's a creator, but truthfully, I can get closer to God through an elephant and through a gorilla, and giving to the gorilla fund and the elephant fund, and seeing that anyone who poaches a gorilla and cuts his hand off. I mean, I gave money to a group that hires a military hands of a mountain gorilla, because they should. And then the ones who cut the tusks off elephants are the wonderful, sensitive, kindly Asians in North Korea. So I made up a statement: he who saves a single elephant, it is as though he has saved the entire herd. Mark it down. It's a takeoff on the Maimonides thing. He who saves a single life, it is as though he saved the entire world. Which is true. But at this point, I'd rather save an elephant. I have more faith now in the elephants and the gorillas than I do in human beings. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the racket. I'm sick of the red and the black. I read it years ago, the whole red and the black thing, where the only way to get ahead in Napoleonic France was, remember Stendhal's great book? I think it was Stendhal, wasn't it? The Red and the Black? French writer. The book was called The Red and the Black, and it was about a young man who's ambitious in France, and he's trying to look ahead in his life, and how does he get ahead? There's only two ways to get ahead in Napoleonic France, either through the red or the black, either wearing the red of the uniform or the black of the priesthood. And it's about this aggressive individual who's ambitious, and he has to choose either the red or the black. Nothing's changed here, and in some ways, I mean, the military's not going to give you any great, let us say, external rewards in our country. The people who are committed in the military are truly patriotic and truly do it for their own satisfaction. They don't do it for any societal rewards. It's the same with the police. All right, some do it for the pension, or most do. But the fact of the matter is there's an awful lot of cops in the military who do it for the honor of defending the nation. But now go to the priesthood or the rabbinate or any one of those areas. What do you think, they're in it for God?
Savage. Michael Savage. Afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk 910 KNEW and online at 910KNEW.com.